Hey YouTube, how are you all doing? Lego Leprechaun here again, guys, and it's been a while. My sincere apologies, guys, on getting back onto YouTube. It took a bit of time. Really, long story short, it all started out with my phone just being misplaced, and I kept threatening on getting a camera at that point because I knew I wanted one specifically for YouTube as opposed to using a phone. But the phone served me well. It's a Samsung S10 at the time, and it was great regarding a 4K picture or even 1080p onwards anyway. And yeah, so when that went, I said, right, I'll get a camera soon. And I didn't. And I kept saying, yeah, I'll get up next week and get one. And I said I'll research it and stuff like that. I went back to using an old phone. I call it the emergency one, but the picture in that isn't great at all. So I wasn't going to use that for videos, you know. So I managed to get a camera eventually, and here I am 8 months later using it. Lads, I'm a disgrace. My sincere apologies again. So look, just as we're looking at the finished product of the cave, the Wayne Manor, I'm just going to tell you the story and how it all came about. And for those of you guys who've been subscribed to me for this length of time, welcome back again, as I said. And for those of you who are new to the channel or that are seeing this for the first time, hope you stay, hope you like, and if you do, by all means throw a thumbs up or even maybe a subscription. So guys, time to get cracking, time to explain what's been going on. This is the one thing that we'd say still kept going in the time that I wasn't recording. As much as I dropped the camera, I didn't drop the brick. I kept that moving. Now this did take time, and 16 months to be precise. Took that time, guys, because of the expense. As you know, Lego is quite expensive. Ordering those parts did take time. And then as well, you know, your mind has one way of thinking about what it is that you want to do, and suddenly the final product might come around and you think, no, that's not working at all. And what I mean by that is the actual manor itself. As you look at it there, that's completely different to what I planned in the first place once the roof went onto the cave. If you saw, we'd say, the previous update I would have had on the table down towards the end, I had the manor in lengthways, which meant it was at one side and the garden out in front of it was long, and I had planned on just literally catching it that way and putting it up on top of the cave, but that didn't work at all. I'll just point with my finger. The manor would have been over there on the right hand side facing this way, and I was just literally going to transfer what was on the table up to the actual top of the cave, and not at all. It just looked all wrong. It looked too low for one, and secondly, with the manor facing the length of the cave as opposed to coming out at you, it just wasn't going to happen. So I was looking at it, I was humming and hawing, and in fairness to my girlfriend and my brother, they were saying, why don't you try putting it in the centre, why don't you try and bring it up on a bit of a height. So that's what I ended up doing. So the plan was to actually have this knocked up 5-6 weeks ago, and that just wasn't going to happen. The roof went up in the cave, that was grand, and then I had to play with it, and eventually it looks the best. As you can see here, I would say it's the centre of attention is where you'd want it. I'll draw in close to it now and I'll explain all of the details there. The height is what you needed. You need a second level on the actual grounds, and that's what made this stand out as a final finished piece. So yeah, so another thing as well, guys, I want to say just before I get started, that glare that you see, that shine, it's from this light here. It's kind of an industrial light. I was using it for a warehouse, and there's a shine straight off the face of the Lego there, so just excuse that as I'm walking around it. And the cave isn't what I would call, there's no lighting in it, so what light is coming off that is shining on it, so there's going to be shaded areas in this as I walk around the table, or sorry, walk around the cave. So just try and ignore that anyway, and we'll try and get a clearest picture as we can as we go. Okay guys, so we'll draw in here to it. Welcome to the manor. So if you've been following me for a while anyway, guys, you know that the manor I built a few years ago, that was fine. But to me, just that alone was not going to stand out. We needed presence, we needed height, we needed, you know, that grand look facing you. So straight away in came the height, second stage up, and in doing that, that straight away brought it up to the point of where it was gonna look straight into your face as you come in to look at this. Now guys, the camera to a degree doesn't do it justice. If you were standing in front of this, it has more presence, you know, because it's wide, it's 6 foot wide, and it's even gone back, say, over a metre anyway. So anyway, just getting to it guys, here we are. I took a while, again with Lego, you know yourself now, you just have to literally sit and work with designs, come up with stuff. I wanted the steps coming straight out from the doorway down onto the front, and then I wanted steps going to the sides and coming down then straight to the actual roundabout here where the car will pull in. Now the little designs here, I just worked away with those little these here, you know, but again I started with all light grey, and in doing so it just looked all too the same concrete colour, and I thought that's not going to fly at all. So I decided to bring in the dark bluish grey as well that's actually in the front of the house, and bring it down in the little kind of ornament designs here, we'd say, in the front area. And then I decided to put the flower beds in there as well in the corners. Now in those flower beds as well, we've got soil underneath, so it's just not the flowers stalks put down on green. I wanted to look like an attended flower bed. So that brought straight away a bit of contrast, where it wasn't going to look like a whole load of concrete. I wanted that that variation in colour, you know. So that's that guys, that's the whole front of the manor as you can see there. Now as we draw here, I'm going to go to the right hand side. That green spot here that you see is going to be completely filled in with a lot more. We'd say we'll have a seat facing the fountains, and I'll have something, we'd say, in front of these. I want something nice, a kind of a lovely tile, a square touch. Not sure if I'll do the whole lot of the green with tile, because it might look a small bit too concrete altogether. So we'll see. I'll play with it again. Like guys, it takes time. So back up here we have the two little kind of garage houses here that I just built for the cars, and we've a bit of cobble on the grounds, which I'll be putting more of. I just ran out of pieces for that, and I'll put 4 cars in there. There's 2 at the moment. Over on the right hand side then guys, we actually have the graves, and we got a lovely kind of a blossomed tree come down over it, because that's, again, that's part of the Bat story, isn't it? That he has, you know, a complete loss for the parents, like, so he makes sure that he actually has the graves perfect. Now there's different stories of course, you know, and we have a little bit of a flowering going on in front of it. So that area is kind of, you know, presenting a well tended, looked after graveyard. And then I didn't want to have it completely perfect, like where you see the graves are kind of perfectly done. In this case I wanted to have a bit of wilderness then at the side of the manor as well, you know. So I brought in a few trees and a few weeds and a bit of growth, as you can see down here, you know. And I love that. And then I love the owls as well. They just speak a little bit of the darkness as well that's in Bruce Wayne's world. And then guys, as we come down here, obviously the cars had to get up to that garage, so in doing so we had to build a kind of a sloping road coming up, as you can see it here. And that took a bit of time guys. I had to kind of mess around with boards and see what I could bend and tile then to actually fit it in, with the walls coming down higher than the road level itself to look like it's actually just built nicely between the walls. I'll talk more about the ins and outs and how I done that in another video. I'd call it the tips and tricks video guys. I'll be doing more tutorials as well on certain things, like maybe some cherry blossom trees. I want to do, we'd say, how to do certain roads with certain bends in them, bending plates, rock work, because the cave, and that took, Jesus, that took a fair amount of time. But to be honest, I'm actually going to sleep. I was going to sleep at one point where I was just dreaming of one grey brick going down top of the other. So yeah, I'll be sharing all that with you, and that's what I want to do in time, you know. So I'll explain that later and how all that came about. The fountains there and the bridge, again, sitting down guys and just tinkering with pieces of Lego all the time to see what you can come up with. Didn't do much research, I just kind of played around, like as you can see there. I'm trying to lens in. Every time I lean over the camera there's a danger of actually kicking something over with my hand. So that area there, like, you know, as you can see those, they're handcuffs on top of a little skeleton's foot, and just planted on a one piece a jumper plate, and that's it, stuck to a wall. And I just didn't want a run of masonry brick coming along there. I wanted to have some kind of, again, contrast, some variation, you know. So yeah, again guys, just sitting down playing with it, just playing with it, basically seeing what you come up with, similar to what's on the fountain there as well, look, you know. So I kind of came off that idea and worked with it. So yeah, so moving from right again and swinging over left. Now here we have, I suppose we'll start there with the castle. The castle area to me is, just came upon me, what could I do? I was, again, will I bring more of the mansion out to the left with those peaks? And I thought, if I do that now to order parts, and I thought, right, can we do something else? So what I did was, I said, why don't we do a castle, we'd say, that was on the grounds even before the mansion was built, and have Bruce Wayne then just restore it. So I just lens in there again now, guys. I just sat, played. I did a bit of research with this one, alright, because I wanted to see how you can get the round castle effect. So I found something there on Google and I just kind of imitated that and put a bit of my own touch with it, like, but I can't turn around and say, yeah, that's completely my own creativeness, like, or my own mock. It's put together, yes, to a degree, but I call it a semi-mock, you know. There's a lot of people out there that do some fantastic stuff with Lego, and it's just posted up when you type in images on Google. So yeah, so that's where Bruce Wayne now will go up there for his moment of peace and look out upon his garden, which we'll get to now. So here we have a little bit of it, again, a tended woods, guys. It's a bed of earth that's looked after with some lovely trees and flowers, and I just didn't want to catch all of what you see there and plant it down on the green plate. You know, it looks too scattered and unorganised, and I wanted a part of the manor then that is organised and that is looked after, and in this case it's the garden. So we have a few beds there in different shapes, as you can see. Sorry, no, this is actually focusing in on what's closest to it. I haven't got the swing of this camera yet. So you can see a few scattered beds there, and then the driveway now is the one thing that I would not be happy with. I'm not even finished with yet, it's just kind of a pathway out of here. The plans for where it's going and how it's going to reach the lower levels, I'll talk to you more about in time. But I just put the trees down that were on the last manor, but to be honest, they to me are too high. I can look, if you look there, you can barely see through them up to the castle area, you know. So I want to lower them, and what I'm going to put in there instead, and once I get my hands on them, is the shrubs that I have here. I'll use those shrubs, I'd say, and what I'll do is I'll just run them out. They'll be low, which means you can see the background, and they'll suit it much better to me, you know. At the right hand side of the castle as well, where the tree is, I was debating would I kind of connect it to the house, would I put another tower in there. I thought if I do that again I'd be waiting for parts. I kind of sponged what I could out of my my drawers and got the castle tower that high. I wanted to go higher, but I was just all out. So I said, right, for now just put in the tree and have that area by itself there at the moment, but there'll be a bit more alright to come with that in time. And I'll show you how I done it, guys, how I got the steps in there and went around it, because I love bringing a bit of, I suppose, circular roundness to Lego, because it's mainly all square and angles, as you know. So I think that turned out kind of well enough, you know, so I'm happy enough with that. Alright, so now for those of you who are new to it anyway, are probably dying to see the cave first. And for those of you that had been following me, would have seen the last update on the cave would have been the left hand side wasn't done and the roof wasn't on it, nor were the two big stalagmites here that are actually thrown in the middle. So guys, let's get cracking on that. I just wanted to stand back so you have a gander at it. We'll come in here to the left hand side, excuse me. Right, we'll start with the operations area here. Okay, from what you can see of it. Again now guys, it's a little bit harder to see it because of the light behind my back. But look, it's not finished yet. We'll talk about the rockwork first. Those two kind of hollows that you see in there. First, the left one was going to be the area for the screening and his massive computer. And the right hand side, I was going to have another one, we'd say, with Robin on it maybe, or Batgirl or whatever. But I just decided to leave it open for now. Maybe I was going to think of putting a lift maybe coming down, but it doesn't, that lift wouldn't go up into anything from where the manor is placed, so it probably won't be a lift, it'll probably be something else. Again, the screening there, that computer is just from a Batman. Well, I put a small bit of my own design on, but it's just literally not what I want in there. I do want some kind of a small TV screen, some tiny little 1080p thing that I can put in there, and I'll put some kind of a video together of Gotham or whatever and have it playing in there with the bat sitting in front of it. So that's what I'd like to do there. But yeah, we've got the usual, the horizontal kind of, the Lego built and then placed on its side to give that lovely cavern look. And then up here we have a small bit of a lab, and that's again not complete, guys, just a few tweaks, and we got to get a ton more light in here as well. We've the Flash running around, and he's having a bit of fun with Wonder Woman running through the lasso, and eventually he comes up to give us a smile. So again, guys, when I was doing this wall here on the left, obviously it's going to be the area where the cave, where the entrance out of the cave is going to be. So as I draw down here, you can see and this isn't the finished product in this either, it's just a kind of a sloping driveway that takes his car out. The rock for this now, right, took a bit of time. I wanted to kind of, if you look at it even there, it looks like a melting foot, and it literally goes right up and it reaches the top, bang. So I was happy with that and how it turned out. And it's funny, again, guys, you get better at building when you're at it for a long time. As I said, this is 16 months in the making, and when I started with the rock work in the middle, by all means, I was okay at it, but by the time I got here, I could do it much better. I wouldn't say faster, it does take time. And again, what's behind is a load of coloured bricks and stuff that you use for support, so you're constantly trying to save on Lego. So that's what takes the time. And then a little bit around the corner here, there's a little opening up there, and eventually I wouldn't mind get a bit of a waterfall out, so it'll fall right to the bottom. Now down here, guys, I managed to actually fill in most of the blue. So that's the water kind of almost complete, a tiny bit more at the back, but it's almost complete. Anything that was going to be flat, I wanted it full of water. I don't want one grey speck on the ground. And then here we have his turntable, where his car is, and the few bits and bobs, the bikes. And then we're going back here to the rooms. Now the rooms are lit up, but again, guys, I can't really make, the screen is tiny on this camera. That's the only thing, it's a vlogging camera. Great picture when you see it on a big screen when it's loaded up onto something after, but here it's quite small, and I forgot to put on my glasses. I'm getting old. So lens in here is small, but guys, for any of you that's new, that is coming to it for the first time, here's our suits room. Okay, I know whether that's turning out blurry now or not, but you can see it there, and every pod is lit up, so here's the suits in there. Okay, come back from that. And go up another bit here, and we have his little gym. Now guys, again, like that, for anyone that's new to this channel, like, my full-time job is having my own gym. So, and again, like that, it's not a leisure centre with loads of treadmills and stuff like that. Mine is like a monkey maze, it's like a Ninja Warrior gym. So what you're seeing in there, I had no problem designing, because it's what I do for a full-time job. So yeah, we have a bit of weights and stuff like that, but we have the whole kind of salmon ladder, and we have the rig where he's swinging off the back from bar to bar. And to me, I think that's great, because it's similar to what he would be doing if he was on the street, you know. Sorry now for the shakes, guys, I'm down on my knees here trying to get the right the right angle. So yeah, so that's the actual gym, and I loved it when I was doing it, you know, I really do. You can actually see a bit more into it maybe. There's a bit of a ropes, and there was a tire in there, and there's everything, Swiss balls, the whole lot. So yeah, and then we just veer up here a little bit, and we have the dinosaur, which is one of his trophies. So I just popped that out of the wall, and then we go up a little further, and here we have just a small little bit of a dedication to the Adam West Batman. So I decided to put that in there, guys, along with a small little cave. Excuse me, the set that came out there a few years back, the Adam West one. I just had it in the corner, and I thought, what could I do with it? Now I'll just lens out so you can see basically what I was doing with it. Was that area there, there's kind of 6 holes, as you can see. Alright, and we'll get to the other 2 there now in a second. But you have the suits room, you've got the weapons room, right? You have the gym, you have the trophy room, and then instead of just building a whole load of grey up to the ceiling, I said, you know what, just put in 2 little holes again, and put in a small little I suppose a dedication to the Adam West, you know, because like, guys, I grew up to that and I loved it when I was a kid. So yeah, we have two little areas up there, and it just brings more colour to the cave, because again it's a mass of grey and you want to actually colour it up a little bit. So down here again, oh yeah, so look, just let me get to this first. Weapons room. Alright, it's tight here now guys, again bear with me. So as you can see, just lens in there. Weapons room, we have all the goodies in there. Alright, and there's a bit of light in there as well. You can see that if you can make it out. Okay, now the trophy room, I took a few bits out of because I needed it for some cars I was making. So I know there's more that I must do and put in there. So it's a little bit empty at the moment. And that's the cave up there, look. The little Adam West one, just going on that. There you have a close-up. So yeah, let me back out now there and I just lens out again. Okay, now I come around here, we did a proper walkway here, so it's in black and yellow, which is the back colours, and the yellow barriers and the black platform. Last time I did that, it was all broken up with different colours, grey, because I hadn't got the black. And then we have another platform. That, by the way, that platform brings us down here to the steps down to his car, and as you come down here more, it brings you down here to his helipad and his mech. And again, these are kind of, again, anyone guys that's new to it, they're the rock built on its side, built up like a wall and literally laid down on its side. So it gives that kind of, like it looked like he flattened out the rock for what he had to use it for what he wanted to use it for. And then we have a few stalagmites here and stalagmites. What's the bottom one? I keep forgetting. I know the big one here in front of me is stalagmite and tight that join together. I can never remember. I looked it up and all before, like, so I'd know what I was saying here when I'm talking about the cave and I'm not forgetting it. So forgive me for that. So we have a few of these here that are just kind of coming out of the water that had dripped from the ceiling. And again, that walkway comes down and around the corner. And it brings you right over as far as what I have here is a few cells, a few holding cells. And there's a small little tunnel in here. Okay, sorry now about the actual the angle of the camera there. I'm just showing you what it is, and basically what's in there as well guys is I have a mirror at the end. I think it's it. Is it? Yeah, I have a mirror there at the end, and that's just to make it a longer looking tunnel, you know. So sorry again guys, now with the camera I'm just all over the place with this, but if I waited any longer for the perfect video, Christ, I'll be 10 years. So sorry about that. Yeah, and again guys, this walkway, it brings you to everywhere in the cave. If you look back over here, he's up in the operations area. He can beam down on the actual fireman pole, as I call it. He can come along, he can access his car, he can come down to the helipad here, he can go straight into the suits room or the weapons room. There's a stepway here, and he can go all the way up there. And just quickly move around there now so you can see it. Again, it's dark in here now. So literally he can come up that ladder, you can go around there. Now we have a little hollow here on each side as well guys, so I could just show two angles of these, one which is the old cave and the trophy room. So now there's no access to the old cave or the sitting room up there with the old Adam West in it. I just wanted that as a kind of an Easter egg, you know, basically. So yeah, he can access anywhere here, and he can come right along the front then, and he can go to his trophy room or he can go to the gym. That's all accessible from the actual excuse me, from the platform here and from the actual operations area. And then he can come up and he can actually come along here to the platform. Anyone had seen the Lego Batman movie? That's their big scuttler here. So I put that in there. And then we have the Batwing. Let me draw back here again guys, sorry for the lighting. We have our Batwing here, and he can walk there, and then he can come down those steps and he can get into his rocket, which we know Batman probably wouldn't have one of those, but that came with the sets there back when the Lego Batman movie was out, which I thought was just hilarious. So I just wanted to pack the cave up guys, I really did. I wanted to show everything and try and get everything as much as I could into it, and it just makes it more enjoyable. So yeah, and I did look, these are figs that I threw in here ages ago, but I was just putting the turtles in there, like, you know, and they're calling a small little turtle along. Just anything for a bit of comedy. We have, I can lens in there maybe. I know I have the Joker, I think, inside in the holding cells there, and the Red Hood making his way along. So yeah, that's the green hair and the white head and the red hood, ready to go along and give him a bruising for making him the red hood. Well, not literally, like, but I mean that's the story. So yeah. So guys, let me back it up here now again. I'm shaking all over the place, so forgive me for that. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. It's great to be back. I'm delighted to actually share all of this with you, as it took a long time. And my apologies again, guys. I can't say it enough, really. I know I should be doing stuff more frequent. But I promise, guys, I'm telling you now, this is something I love doing. I just had to get the hang of recording, getting more comfortable, getting more confident. It takes a bit of time, you know yourself. I don't know how many runs I'm after having over the last few days of starting a video, and I jumble up my words and start again. And oh, Jesus, this is all over the place. So whichever way my mouth comes out here, I'm just sharing what it is that I have with you and just putting it all out there. The next video I'll do on the city, which is a complete crap heap. I'm not even going to turn the camera to it. I'm just going to show you the next update, what I'm going to do and what I took down and how I'm going to improve it to bring it up a level. At the end of the day, this cave is going to integrate into the city, which is all the way down here on the left, and I'm going to show you that in the next video, because it'll be just too much to put it all in one here, you know. So yeah, guys, so again, I'm delighted to be back. Welcome everybody. If you're there with me for a long time, if you're still subscribed, or if you're new to the channel, I'm delighted to have you all looking at it. Share all your comments, guys. Delighted to hear what you think. Any suggestions, you know yourself, bring it all to the table. And if you do like, by all means, throw a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more content, or you're delighted to see the cave and stuff, and you'd like to subscribe for more, by all means do subscribe as well. So thanks again, guys, for everything, and we will see you in the next video. Lego Leprechaun out.